Hello and welcome to EverCast show live from Desert Rain Studios. This is episode number 77, which we've titled the BlizzCon Report, or because we just came back, Kai Lest and myself. EverCast is a video game podcast concentrating on online stream multiplayer experiences, connecting gamers with the game they play. I'm one of your normal weekly regular hosts, Tanlin. With me are our three other normal weekly regular hosts. I'll give them a second to introduce themselves.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. Hi, I'm Kai.
Hi, I'm Lucy.
Hi, I'm Flatus. Tanlin, you should move TeamSpeak out of the way of the chat.
I saw that! Right before you said that.
So, yeah, we have so much to talk about. So much. No news. The news is that's the news. The news
is we've got a lot of news.
We're talking about BlizzCon.
So everybody get a chance to introduce themselves?
We got the lovely ladies and then me. So yeah, and then you. We did it. We did it.
We got everybody. Woo! All right. So yeah, as I was just saying, we really want to get the show kicked off. We really need to get into things because if we don't, we're going to run out of time. There's a lot of information that we received over the weekend, and you know we've got to talk about it. So this is the BlizzCon report, and I think that it defies like, oh, I don't play this video game or that video game. This is like the first time. Well, is it the first time that we've seen a really online video game with a shared multiplayer experience being turned into a movie? Like, we talked about Resident Evil last week, but that was a solo game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and they did have an online multiplayer game, but it wasn't like World of WarCraft in terms of online multiplayer. It was very early PlayStation 2. The renegade days, the Wild West days of console online playing, or whatever, however you want to call it. But not to the degree and grandeur that is Warcraft. So this is big.
Yeah, I agree. We're not going to actually show the trailer. We're just kind of hoping that you've already watched it. We will try to, like, if you're not familiar at all with the lore of Warcraft and you've only watched the trailer, we will try to alert you beforehand when we're going to give a spoiler. But just so you know, we're nerds here, and we've read into a lot of the story leading up to the movie, and so we're actually watching, like, it's like Lord of the Rings, right? With Lord of the Rings, if you had just watched the movie the first time, I'm sure obviously sitting next to you was some guy who had read the book or girl who had read the book and was all about, like, well, where's Tom Bombadil? And all of a sudden, like, they go in depth and they spoil the movie for you because they know more than what the movie actually shows. We are kind of like that. We will try to give you...
I kind of had that happen, except the guy behind me, his wife had never read the books or bothered to see the first movie, so in the middle, like the very beginning of the second movie, he started explaining everything that had already happened, and I was like, shut the fuck up. Right now. Because if you ruin this movie for me with the Ents, I will kill you.
Yeah, so we will try to alert you and warn you ahead of time when we start talking, like, about that stuff. But for the most part, I think that we're going to talk about things that we've seen in the trailer, what we saw. So with that said, here's some pictures. And I'm going to go with the non-controversial stuff first because we'll get to the controversial stuff in a minute. All right, so first up, I've got this great picture that I grabbed from the movie. It is Jurotan. Jurotan is the principal orc protagonist of the movie. If you've watched the trailer, Jurotan is trying to lead his people in a new land in a peaceful manner. He just wants to find a reasonable home for himself. Next up is Orc. This one is not identified. We don't know who it is. There's some thought that it might be Blackhand, but Blackhand in stories and such is shown without having any hair. So we're not sure. All right, and here is
who that is.
but he was prominently on the screen, so I'm sure we'll get to know him in a minute. This city right here, with the griffin flying to it, this is the opening scene from the trailer. All of the cast is 100. Well, let me back up on that. We're all in agreement here. We're all 100% in agreement that is Karazhan. Lucy shrugs her shoulder.
Gladys is like,
yeah.
no.
I mean,
Well,
I don't. It's because Karazhan's like this dooming tower to me. So I guess before the fall. I guess before the fall of Karazhan's probably.
But Dalaran was on a lake, and it wasn't nestled into the mountains.
Yeah, and that's the two things. Like, you could have.
I love the face that he just made at me. Like, God damn it, woman.
No, it's not that. It's something. I'm going to show us the city again. And two of the reasons why we think that it is Karazhan and not Dalaran is, one, Dalaran is known as the City of Towers. That's its nickname, the City of Towers. And so when you see a city that is nicknamed the City of Towers, you would expect to see multiple towers and not just one gigantic tower. And this city that we're looking at right here only has the one massive tower. So I don't really think it's Dalaran. The second thing, as Kailas had mentioned, is that Dalaran is found on the shores of it originally is found on the shores of a lake in Lordaeron, but it's not really Lordaeron. It's just what has become known as Lordaeron. And this city, it appears not to be on the shores of the lake, but on a river or a cliff, which fits much better in where Karazhan is located at in the World of Warcraft setting.
Which
currently.
is Deadwind Pass in the middle of the mountains.
So.
Do you think they're gonna have the ballroom?
I don't think you're going to be able to. That would be kind of cool if they showed Karazhan. If they showed Karazhan, right? If they,
there's a chess game in there.
I was just going to say, I want to see the chess game.
In the background, look for it. Two characters playing chess, or look for in the background like a theater with like a woman up on a tower and a male down below the tower, because the Karazhan theater opera event, one of the things is Romeo and Juliet, so you could do Romeo and Juliet in the background. Anyway,
But I digress.
10 out of 10 best movie ever. They do that.
Oh, public service announcement. When Juliet says wherefore, she does not mean where. It means why.
It means why. Yep.
I just want everybody to know that.
Thank you. Thank Lucy.
This is all I have
Why?
had because I didn't watch BlizzCon, so.
Why out there? Why out there?
all right.
No,
So
why are
Oh,
you
why-
Romeo? Like,
yeah,
why
why
are
are
you...
you
Well, another episode. I apologize.
Yeah,
yes.
no.
I'm sorry.
Episode 78, Shakespeare.
So here's the next picture. This picture, I grabbed it because Durotan, from most of the RTSs and definitely in World of Warcraft, is most famously known for his wolf hat, whatever you want to call it.
Pelt.
His wolf pelt head piece, whatever you want to call it.
It's from his dead wolf that he killed.
Yeah, the story, I guarantee you that the movie is not going to go that far into depth over Durotan. But here is Durotan, where he's actually wearing the famous wolf pelt on his head. In the background is the bald orc. We're not sure if that is Ogrim or if that is Blackhand, because both of those orcs are bald, and we don't know yet. But I'm assuming that it's Ogrim, because Durotan and Ogrim are very, very close friends, and
I think
it would make sense. Yeah, it makes sense for them to be hanging out together. Okay, next up, this is an orc woman. The scene that occurs where I grabbed this image of the orc woman, she is putting a baby into the river, and she's turning back over to probably look at the humans that are destroying her village. And this is probably Drakkar, who is Durotan's wife / Thrall's mother. This is important if you play World of Warcraft, and spoiler, Thrall's the war chief for a long, long time before he turns it over to Grimosh, who then turns it over to Vol'jin, the troll.
Well, turns over. Put it nicely, I guess. Green Jesus.
Yeah. Right. And I see that Comer Estes says, or Estes is talking about how the timeline is a little. Oh, sorry, Draka. That
Thank you for correcting him. I didn't want to interrupt them.
that the timeline is a little bit screwy, and when we talk about like what Kylest and I were arguing about before the show, and Flatus was joining in, it's because of timeline issues.
I think in true Warcraft fashion, Blizzard probably fiddled a little bit. I would say that Legendary probably gave Blizzard more freedom with how the lore was given out than any other studio. That's probably why they went with Legendary. So I think this will be the closest we can get to the actual Warcraft RTS storyline that we would want. Yeah.
So next up is another female orc. This is a different one than the woman with the baby. Thrall's mother, Draka. Okay.
Draka.
This is obviously Garona. We could totally spoil the movie for you right now if we wanted to talk about Garona a little bit, but I don't think that it's important to talk about Garona's history other than the fact that here she is. She's green. She has little tusks.
I think that one is actually like evolved. Like, I'm okay with spoilers, but I actually only recently learned Garona's history. And I've been playing Warcraft for 6 years, so shh on that one. Let people Google it for themselves.
Yeah, if you want to know, just Google it. Okay, so next up we have another Griffin ride into another city. And this is the city that I believe is Dalaran. You can see, as you're looking at it, that it does look like the City of Towers. It's also floating up in the sky, and we were talking about it in the show. Or talking about it before the show, and we're just talking about timeline issues, like how do you make the timelines make sense, because from our understanding that Dalaran is not a floating city until much later in the history of Azeroth, that it doesn't make sense for it to be flying in the First War, because there's just no reason for it to be. Yeah, and Draenei won't be really touched about. We talked about it before the show that if they do like 3 or 4 movies, and that's what I'm guessing at, that they have in their mind that this is going to be an ongoing series of movies going forward, because they have enough material to do multiple movies, is that if you do a movie about the the Burning Crusade expansion, then you can definitely talk about the Draenei in that, and why the orcs came to be where they're at.
Yeah.
All right. And here we got another big orc. This is either, again, Ogrim or Blackhand. I'm more leaning towards this being Ogrim, because it looks like he's hanging out with Thrall, and Blackhand is probably going to be a villain of the story for the Warcraft movie. And this does not look necessarily like a villain. This more looks like Jorotan's best friend. Here is Jorotan, and this is the still that went out like a couple weeks ago, and it's probably one of my favorite stills, because it really shows that they managed to get the CGI point where it is not like completely fake looking. It's crossed over the Happy Valley into like, oh my goodness, look at the emotions that he's showing in his face. Look at the detail. It really, you can see.
Look at the tears that are welling up at the base of his eyes.
Look at the light, tiny little body hairs on his shoulder.
Exactly.
Like, it's everything in there. You got like veins slowly, like they're like this movie graphics wise is fantastic. I would almost see it just for the graphics.
Yeah, and then I think we start over at the start, and now we get into the controversy, and this is where the lore nerds are arguing amongst each other. This is the city that they show. They show 2 different angles of the same city. We believe it is most likely the same city. Oh, it's not showing. Hold on. Because if I slide it over,
I see it.
if I slide it over, you can see that there's a castle in the same frame. So
that's Lights Hope Chapel, right? Or not Lights Hope, but is it Lights Hope? The one in the middle of Storm?
No,
Listen, I don't.
it's
the Cathedral of Light in
That
see,
one,
okay,
yeah.
so
Lights Hope Chapel is in a different zone.
So
That's right.
here's the thing. The movie websites are saying that this is Stormwind. I don't think it is.
I think he's wrong.
Flatus, you want to help me out here? What do you think? Is that Stormwind or not?
If it is, I mean, they took a lot of freedoms with what Stormwind is. Because to me, that's not Stormwind. That's I don't know.
Well, what's the name of the city that it could be?
All right. So I personally think that city is Stromgarde or Strom. To go back into lore a little bit, the kingdom, the human kingdom, when the orcs first came over into Azeroth, the world of Warcraft, that sounded so lame. But anyway, the city was called they landed in the kingdom of Arathi, and the orcs actually won. And I hate the spoiler. The orcs win the first war. I'm not going to tell you how they do it or why they do it, but it leads to the second war and the follow-up. The following things that occur in the story of World of Warcraft. But the orcs actually win the first war. They kind of decimate the human kingdom of Arathi, and the capital city of Arathi is Strom. Later on, it's renamed Stromgarde, and in the Arathi Highlands in World of Warcraft zone, you can actually go to the ruins of Stromgarde. That's the city. That's the capital city of the human kingdom that the orcs lay siege to and destroy. As far as I know, the city of Stormwind isn't the capital city. It's not the big majestic city in the first war, and doesn't become until much later on.
I'm just gonna say Keepers of Stromgarde represent.
Right?
That is hard. But then this is also us just breaking down the trailer. I mean, they could show Stormwind near the very end of the movie as a later on. I'm not trying to ruin anything, but like if it were me directing this and you wanted to skip through the years to get to a second movie, you'd probably want to show off Stormwind a little bit to get people amped up, because you would probably want to leave this movie off on a cliffhanger and it'd be like, now we want a sequel because this was fantastic and we want more, so give us more. That would be me. So I mean, theoretically, yeah, they could have shown off Stormwind. I just don't know if I mean, do you have another picture? We don't have a picture of that other.
I need to ask Tanlin. I need to ask Tanlin something. Why are you saying that it couldn't be like that? Stromgarde and Stormwind can't exist at the same time.
They can, but necessarily.
What? Okay, so what is this supposed to be the first war?
Yes, it's definitely the first war, and we know that. And let me say why we know that. We know that because of the first war was the orcs coming into Azeroth and basically going to war.
But by the second war, Stromgarde still existed. It hadn't been destroyed yet.
I'm not debating the point. I'm just saying that it is. Are you sure that it's not the first war that it was destroyed in?
And Stormwind was built during the first war.
Right. And that's why I have this other picture up right now. And this is the picture that you pointed out, that we see this as being the actual Stormwind city, and that other city is not Stormwind because this one is. And really quickly to
you cut off a lot of the reason why, though. Saying.
Would this be like early Stormwind before it was great?
Yes, we think that this is a picture of early Stormwind, and the reason why is because the bridge going across the lake or waterfront that we see here in the city looks like what you would expect to see. It is not like looks like the bridge looks like the bridge going into Stormwind. We'll just put it out there. That.
But he pointed out that the docks don't belong there.
Did you guys ever play Alliance?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, because there is a docks in Stormwind.
Right, but it's not by the bridge going into Stormwind.
Yeah, and that's where we're like, again, this is all
There's a
conjecture.
moat.
There is.
There
a
is.
And we think that this is the bridge over the moat.
Comeresta 87 says that's Red Ridge.
I thought Red Ridge was in the mountains.
Red
And
Ridge
no
is
lake.
the
Technically,
zone.
could be mountains going upwards.
Red Ridge is the city is Lakeshire. The bridge.
Red Ridge does have a lake.
Yeah, the city is Lakeshire. The zone is Red Ridge.
Well,
There is a bridge.
In listen.
And this is why we said that it was kind of a controversial thing, because we're like, we don't
This
know.
is so just for my 2 cents, like I didn't want to try to break down the movie trailer and try to like oh, I think it's this and oh, I think because I don't fucking know. I won't fucking know until I see the movie. And I don't like theory crafting. I'm sorry.
Well, then what about the movie did you want to talk?
Dear Blizzard, release it sooner.
Doesn't the official website say it's Stormwind?
Yeah, wouldn't is there a Warcraft.com movie that website?
The only website that I saw was io9.com calling it Stormwind, but I don't think they're right.
Find out. I'll look.
Wait,
Let's
here's the thing. We've spent 25 minutes almost on the trailer.
We
have a lot of other shit to talk about too.
Sure did.
Like,
Let's keep moving.
No.
Hold on. Nope.
I am not done talking about the movie, because we dissect like, oh, this scene is that, and this person is that, and that's cool and all, but we really haven't talked about, like, does it look good? Are you excited to see it? Do you want to see it? Does watching the trailer make you want to go and see the movie?
I will fangirl that shit at midnight. You don't have to come with me if you don't want to. Twice.
Once in the AM, once in the PM?
I will walk out. I will go right back in. I'll be like, yes, bitches, I'm watching it again.
Yeah. So Comer SD. He brings up a good point that I forgot to mention that I think I have a picture. I forget where I put it. That the principal orc protagonist in the movie is Jurotan. The principal human protagonist in the movie is Lothar, and Lothar in the lore, if you read the Wikipedia, is the last son of Arathi, or the and there's that's why that is actually what first made me think that, wait a minute, is that Stromgarde? And then to talk about Arathi, the kingdom of Arathi was an allegiance of several different human kingdoms, which included the kingdom of Dalaran, because Dalaran was a kingdom before it was a city. Lordaeron was part of it. The kingdom of Arathi, and I think that they said that there were 7 human kingdoms, and I can't name them all off the top of my head, but I can name the big players, which are Lordaeron, Dalaran, and Arathi. Anyway, so moving right along, Legendary Neurotexan called it best, is like, guess what? This is all the reimagined stuff. If they don't have Demon Blood, I'm gonna be so mad, because that means that, like, the rest of the movies are like Flatus, you're pulling a Tamlin. Can't hear you. Can't. Your press to type button is messed up or something. Okay. While Flatus works on that, we'll come back to him when he gets his mic working. Actually, no,
better. Yes.
Better. So much better.
That's a big scream. Hi. Listen. Real quick. Yes, movie good. I want to see it. Let's do that. At midnight. Let's keep moving. We got all this train.
All right, so moving right along, take off the Warcraft movie and talk a little bit about StarCraft II. StarCraft II is going to be really quick to talk about. No future expansions planned for StarCraft II. Not that many. I don't think any of us were really playing it. I played a little bit of it, and I feel so bad that I never played the single-player campaign to hear the story, because I feel like I have missed out on so much of the story.
I've played it. I need to go back there. You know what? I need to go sit down and just go through, because I do want to get Legacy of the Void, because I played through StarCraft 1 so much, so much when I was in high school. My parents went on vacation. Like, that's when I started working, so they were like, "You're working, you stay here for the week." And I was like, "All right, I get the house to myself." Not kidding. I think I sat there, took the weekend off work, and logged into StarCraft 2 and played the whole story and multiplayer. I don't think I slept. I think I realized that I was like 4 bottles of Mountain Dew deep and 5 bags of Doritos. I was just like, what is my life? Where is it? What happened?
Yeah, and I think I've mentioned that when I went on, I was in the Marine Corps in '99. I had a laptop that I borrowed from my parents. With my laptop on board a ship sailing across the sea, I brought one game with me, and one game only, and that was the first StarCraft. And can you imagine how much time you get to play one video game if you've got 6 months with nothing else to do? I played the shit out of it.
Yeah!
And that's why I feel bad that I haven't been keeping up with the story of StarCraft 2, because, like, oh my goodness, it looks like they showed a new trailer for Legacy of the Void at BlizzCon. Again, we're not going to show it. It would take up too much time, but go and watch it, because, like, it's in the feels. It really starts setting up the climactic finish. But no future expansions, but they are going to start releasing DLC, downloadable content in story packs, which I have been saying that they should be doing all along. And Vladis, what is this little note about Nova?
Yep, Nova finally gets her very, very first chance in a StarCraft game. Nova was the star of the defunct StarCraft Ghosts, and now she will finally get her debut in StarCraft as Nova Covert Ops. And they showed a mini trailer for Nova and the DLC. Go watch it; it's really cool. The trailer says a lot about why did Nova do the things that she did. So, who is Nova and why is she doing those things?
BlizzCon Report, Heroes of the Storm. They announced at BlizzCon they're adding a new game mode, which is the arena game mode. They're adding a new map, the Towers of Doom. They're adding new characters. Oh goody! One of the
oh yeah.
Somebody else say what the heroes are.
Hi. All right. We have 3 new heroes. 4, but I'll get to that one. I'll get to that one later. Greymane, Jen Greymane from World of Warcraft, Jorana, which is a Dryad from World of Warcraft, and we have, last but not least, my favorite and most interesting character, Cho'Gall. Anybody that attended, got the virtual ticket, and random people on Battle.net will get Cho'Gall. Cho'Gall is one character controlled by 2 people, and that is fantastic. Whoever controls Cho...
Wasn't that the 2-headed ogre thing?
Yes!
I knew something!
Yeah!
I'm not stupid, you're stupid.
Yep! So, Cho'Gall, whoever's Cho gets to do melee damage and drives, and whoever's Gall will be doing all the melee shadow damage. It is I've already talked to Tobin Ernwood. We are psyched because I know I'm going to get it, and he's invited to come with me. And go take on... What?
So they're calling
But I'm the one that got you, Cho'Gall.
We can Cho'Gall as well.
She didn't ask me to.
I know, I was going to say it was...
You make me cry when we play games like that.
Oh, okay. So Cho'Gall is also unique in that you can't buy him. He's not going to go up on the store. The only way to get Cho'Gall is to play, 2 games?
Play 2 games with somebody as Cho'Gall. So
who has Cho'Gall?
Yeah, they want the Cho'Gall to spread like a virus. They want it to spread across. So that's so cool because that gives reasons for people to play with people that have Cho'Gall.
Now, I think that it's really Cho'Gall is a very interesting character because of two reasons. One, they released the Lost Vikings in Heroes of the Storm, and if you're not familiar with the Lost Vikings, it is one player controlling 3 characters. And this Cho'Gall is like the opposite of it. Now it's 2 players controlling 1 hero. I don't know if League of Legends or Dota 2 have any characters like that.
Not that I'm aware of at all. I mean, someone in chat, please tell us, but I am not aware of that. So, I mean, if that's the case, this is super interesting. I have to really give Blizzard props because that really does take this MOBA to a whole new direction that I didn't think I would see coming from them. But Blizzard's doing MOBA damage over there.
Yeah, they are. So, Greymane is the werewolf character. He is the leader of the, excuse me.
No, Kerman just said League of Legends has nothing like that in League.
Right. So, Greymane is the werewolf leader of the Worgen in Warcraft. So they're bringing more Warcraft heroes into Heroes of the Storm. Junara is their first centaur.
I thought her name was Lunara.
Somebody wrote it down with a J. I think you're right. It is Lunara.
Is
I
it?
think that person is wrong.
It was me. I was the wrong. It was me. I did it. I'm sorry.
Her name is Lunara.
Right. So
Somebody was wrong. And she will be a ranged assassin, by the way.
So I thought
Cho'Gall's a warrior, by the way.
Yeah. He might be a warrior and like a ranged assassin because he's got all that shadow magic. So that's
going to take a lot of cooperation between 2 people.
That's what I said. Like, want to know how to end a friendship?
Yeah.
Cho'Gall.
He is indeed warrior assassin.
Oh, that is going to be.
And then they announced Tracer would be coming to Heroes of the Storm as well.
We were gonna get to that.
Oh well, somebody said Heroes of the Storm. Sorry that I'm all excited. God.
Yeah, let's hold off on that until we get to Overwatch.
Nobody's.
Were you?
I said there was one more, but I'll get to it later. It's okay. We're excited. It's gone. Let's go.
Anyway, I suggested, like, looking back through my favorite villains from Warcraft that aren't in Heroes, that would make good heroes for Heroes of the Storm. I put down 2, and I was just going to throw it out to the audience and to my fellow casters. What other characters from Blizzard's universe would make good, heroes for Heroes of the Storm? I put down... They have Brightwing.
There is one.
Brightwing is in there, yep.
More fairy dragons.
Another fairy dragon.
Brightwing is easily the most annoying character in Heroes of the Storm.
He is, but he's fantastic.
A
So is
unicorn?
Murky. Unicorn mount, right? There's a unicorn mount.
You can get a unicorn mount, but I don't think there's any unicorn. But
Yeah,
I
there's a
suggested
unicorn
added Gul'dan, because Gul'dan is like, he's quickly becoming one of my favorite villains. And Kel'Thuzad. Kel'Thuzad, for those who... well, it's okay. Kel'Thuzad is the human necromancer that died and was resurrected by Arthas to taint the Sunwell, and then he shows up in Naxxramas as the last boss in the Naxxramas raid.
Does nobody remember what Metzen was saying about all of you Gul'dan fans?
You're sick in the head? Isn't that what he said? I'm
Yeah.
not a fan of Gul'dan. I appreciate the story that I appreciate his motivations.
It's the type of guy Tanla can sit behind and follow.
He's okay with drinking the Kool-Aid, the foul fucking green Kool-Aid.
He's like, you know what? I'll take some of that.
Looks good. It's green. It bubbles. It glows. I mean, come on. It gives me plenty of energy. It puts a little pep in my step.
Jeff Ogre over there's been going for 4 days straight. I need some of that.
All right. So that about wraps it up for Heroes of the Storm. I'm gonna turn it over to somebody else to talk about Hearthstone because I don't play it. I simply don't.
I'll take the Hearthstone. Hearthstone. Okay. Well, Hearthstone is releasing a brand new adventure pack starting actually this very next. Of the League of Explorers will be coming out. There's new cards, of course, with every playable adventure, and these offer a new mechanic. It's the Discover mechanic, because you're explorers in this one. The Discover mechanic offers, I personally think that it offers that chaos almost that Hearthstone needs. So when you play a Discover card, this is what happens. Play Discover. 3 cards pop up. These cards are not from your hand, but they are in the same family of cards that the card comes from. So now, if someone's playing a deck and they have it mapped out to take on these certain deck types, now you could throw a wrench in their game, and they may not have anything to replay and rebuttal that. So I think that's really cool. I think that's a really neat feature, and I think that is something that Hearthstone was missing desperately. I think that a lot of people had you can spend money in that game, but I think this is something you could buy. Everyone has it open to them, and I think that's something that could really throw a wrench into some of those crazy deck types that people play. We got it.
That is.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. There was if you can find it. What? Go ahead.
The legend, the golden monkey.
Oh, the gold. Yes, there is a golden monkey.
Did you mention the golden monkey?
I did not mention the golden monkey.
You
the
bad man.
All right, there is a new card called.
Really?
I'm sorry. All right, there is a new card called the golden monkey, and if you need to go look it up. Just go look it up. We don't have it. We don't have it here, but just go look it up. Trust me, it's worth your time. I think the League of Explorers is actually a really looks like a really fun and playable one.
It replaces your hand and your entire deck with legendary. How can that be bad?
It doesn't. It's great. That's what I'm saying. Like that discovery card, and that whole group of cards. It's such good. It's so good. Anyway, can we talk about what's coming up? Because that's really it for Hearthstone. I mean, unless you go watch the esport and watch the competition, go do that, and I'm pretty sure you can find it someplace. But that's really all they had for Hearthstone. But what's coming up next is what I'm really excited about as well is Overwatch. And the biggest news from Overwatch is that Overwatch is free to play, not free to play. What just happened?
That is correct. And that was we actually got tipped off before BlizzCon actually started, before opening ceremonies. We got tipped off by a couple of websites that Overwatch is going to be a buy-to-play model, not a free-to-play model. You're going to have to throw down money to play the game. But the news that we didn't know, or no, we kind of knew before opening ceremonies, is that it's also launching on multiple platforms. It's launching on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and the PC. The PC normal edition is going to cost you $40. The Origins edition for both the PC and console is going to be $60, and we'll talk about what the Origins bundle includes. And then the box collector's edition is $130.
So the normal PC edition is just that. It's just the base game.
You get to play the game.
Yeah, you get to play the game. It comes with all 21 playable characters.
And they announced why they're doing a buy the game once and have access to all the heroes. And I didn't know this until I actually got to BlizzCon and got to see people play. You can switch characters during the middle of the match on the fly when you're near your base. So this game is it's a strategy game, a first-person shooter, but you change your composition all the time, and they didn't think that you could do that if you had to buy your individual characters along the way. So they said pay all the money up front, and you have access to all the characters. That also means that they aren't going to sell heroes later on like they do in Heroes of the Storm. Like 21 characters is what they're going to have until they add an expansion pack later on, but that won't be, for quite some time after they launch the game.
Yep. And the more I thought about it, the more I'm okay with this, because when Team Fortress 2 originally came out, you bought the game. It wasn't free to play until almost years after its initial launch. So and this has way more characters in it, way more diverse characters, and I think this is just, it's yet again, it's that Blizzard touch on something that I think we didn't know Blizzard could do, and I think in the last recent years, I think Blizzard's really been expanding their horizons and putting their Blizzard golden touch on things, and I can't wait to see this.
Blizzard actually does not have a game in 2 genres. I'm looking forward to finding out what they want to do in the fighter games, like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter genre, Unreal Tournament
versus.
Dude, and again, dude, a fighter game where you can fight Illidan, with Arthas again, relive that battle. I'm down. And then the other genre of games that they don't really have, they don't have any flight simulators. I would love to be able to. Poor Lucy. Play a game, like Elite Dangerous or Valkyrie or Star Citizen that Blizzard puts together.
It's okay, Lucy. They're not letting me talk either.
You want to talk about Overwatch? Go for it.
No. I called dibs on Legion and Linkin Park. So.
Hi, Curry Superman.
All right, so here is where Flatus and I were talking, and Kailas, Lucy, jump in. Flatus was saying that you have Diablo 3 for just the console or for the console and the PC.
I had it for console. I traded it in the GameStop, but I will be getting it again during Black Friday. Because it is fun. It is when I don't want to sit here and play with my friends, it is something that I can just chill out over there. That you may not see, but over there is my console bed situation. So if I'm tired and I'm off work and I don't feel like sitting at my computer and I just want to veg out for like 20-30 minutes or an hour, I can just hop on a Blizzard game, Diablo, that I am well versed in, and I can go play that, and it is fun, and it's right there, and it's logged into Battle.net, and I get all the goodies.
Yeah, and that is where I have a little bit of concern. I don't... Not for me personally, but for like my brother and for people like him that have a console and a PC, it's like, well, are they going to have to buy the game twice if they want to be able to switch back and forth? And Flatus he's over there nodding his head. Is like, yeah, probably going to have to buy it twice. And then the other thing is that we're almost certain that they're going to have separate servers for each platform. Like if you're playing on the Xbox One, you're only playing with people who are playing on the Xbox One. If you're on the PlayStation 4, you're only... Flatus disagrees?
No. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. If it's PlayStation 4, you're going to play with PlayStation 4. If it's Xbox One, you're going to play with Xbox One. What I think they could do, and if Blizzard would actually do it, Valve did this with Portal 2. They released it on the PlayStation 3, but it also gave you a copy for Portal on the PC as well. I'm not saying that it's not a bad idea. I'm saying that they should look into it, because I think that would really give people that say, hey, I have a PC as well, but my friends play on that, but I really still want to play on PC with my PC friends and still have it on console, and I don't want to drop, $100 for 2 different versions, or $80 for 2 different versions of the game. If they would just give me a code, it's really, could it hurt Blizzard? Because yes and no, but I don't know how they would work it out, so...
So, other things about Overwatch, I heard a hint that they actually might be doing multimedia in regards to Overwatch, like it actually might come out as a cartoon. People were making comments that the whole setup of the video game is very cartoon-esque. If you watch the trailer where they announced their new heroes, and if you watch the trailer where they announced the game with the 2 kids in the museum, that's very, very high production value, and we're thinking like, hey, you know what? There was some talks about that actually leading into an actual on the television cartoon series. But I tried searching. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to like really get into the search to find out if they were actually planning on doing it, or if that was just people at BlizzCon conversing about it. hey, Fly, somebody asked the question. Yeah, the little Overwatch shorts. Me personally, I think that you make more money with video games making video games. The only reason to do multimedia is to support your video game. I don't know.
The shorts, they're great. I think they're great. I think that it gives you some backstory on all the characters, and I think that it's important for Overwatch because backstory, there is story in Overwatch.
So basics, just Team Fortress 2, Blizzard style.
That's
Okay.
what that means.
Yeah. Yeah. That was kind of it for Overwatch.
That's really it. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, none of us got into beta. I mean, if you've been keeping up with me on Twitter.
Oh, I did.
What?
Just kidding.
I was gonna say.
I was like, why? How?
I just wanted that second of all the nerds who like love Blizzard and have been slathering over trying to get into Overwatch, just to have that tiny little bit of nerd rage. Just that little bit that keeps you going, you know?
I didn't even have nerd rage. I was just like, how'd you do it?
I'm a girl. We have magic. Just kidding.
Oops.
Alright, so Legion.
Yeah.
World of Warcraft Legion.
Oh. You guys ever play World of Warcraft? That's that game, right?
Yeah, it was like
Somebody
Came out a
doesn't
while ago.
want their loot bag. I mean, if you don't play Warcraft, I mean, what do you need it for?
It's got all the other things in it.
it's
It's got that zero. Listen, there's that zero tool inflatable weapon I can put on my wrist and go.
It's true. But I'm gonna tell you right now, if little mini Funko Pop thing that you get is Tyrael, I'm gonna bawl. I'm gonna cry.
Oh
I'm gonna
no!
cry. I'm gonna cry. Cry.
What was if I get
So-
Illidan?
so yeah.
There is no in it.
They showed off the new trailer, the new cinematic trailer for the actual cinematic trailer for World of Warcraft Legion expansion, and it shows King Varian and Sylvanas going to the Broken Isles to fight against the army of the Legion, the Burning Legion, crossing over from their demonic realm into the realm of Azeroth. Chris Metzen was talking, or no, was it Mike Morhaime? Or was it Chris Metzen talking at the beginning? It was Metzen. He was talking about how the Burning Legion has twice tried to invade Azeroth, twice being defeated. Once during the War of the Ancients, when Illidan first drove them off and went a little nutso. And then the second time, I forget. It escapes me because I'm on the spot. I can't... Anyway, they're back. They're back again, and they're mad as hell because this is the third time that they've tried to take over Azeroth. So yeah,
The Burning Legion.
Yeah, poor Azeroth. Flatus and I talk about it all the time. That Azeroth seems to be a little bit special in the galactic cosmos because of old gods.
They are.
One of the things that we got confirmed on Twitter during the Q&A session is that we'll finally figure out what is under Tearsfall Glade.
Took them damn years.
Well, we still have never been inside the Emerald Dream, and we're finally going to get a raid encounter inside the Emerald Dream, which is awesome. I've been waiting for that ever.
Hey, I played Legion. I got to play it. I got to play it.
She got to play the Demon Hunter.
So good. You get I-beams. You get to double jump, and then if you hold down your space bar after your double jump, you sprout fucking demon wings and glide.
Do you hold on to it? Does it count down, or is it like as long as you can glide?
No
glide?
countdown. As long as you hold it down, it just glides. It's like I'm gliding, bitches. I'm gliding. So good. So good.
That's kind of dope. I'm down with that.
There was there was 5 or 6 different skins that you got to choose from, like beyond the normal, beyond the normal blood elf. There's some creepy
So
stuff
speaking
with
of, not all of the abilities for the Demon Hunter were available in the game preview that you were allowed to do at BlizzCon. They've already announced that the only 2 races that can be Demon Hunters are Night Elf for the Alliance side and Blood Elf for the Horde side.
Yeah.
It is the new class that is coming out for Legion. I mean, Warlords of Draenor, we got no new race, no new class. So this is the first new class since Monk in Mists of Pandaria.
We finally get to say hello to the Illidari.
What's up? Did I miss something?
No. Just we got a garrison.
But that wasn't a new race.
we got Tanlin's instant.
New this season, you can play as a garrison.
Well, garrison
it's like
is how
a gazebo, but worse.
Right.
It's got a portcullis. It's like teeth.
So you can order Warlords or not Warlords Legion now. It's the $50 standard, $70 digital deluxe. The collector's edition is not out yet. To get the versions of Warcraft Legion, you have to have Warlords of Draenor already. It does not come with a sub, which is kind of weird. Normally they give you like 30 days and you don't need any of the previous expansions. But it does come with a boost to level 100, which will instantly put you in-game in Warlords of Draenor. So that is the official news that I wanted to get out before we start talking about the other fun stuff that they're putting in. Do people like playing with transmogs?
Yeah, what's that?
Do you like making your character's appearance change?
Oh, Blizzard finally started doing that?
Oh, so pretty.
Yeah, they finally caught up. They finally caught up with Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2 had this system in place for a long.
2?
Where you collected on appearances?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
you have an entire second slot for items that are just your appearance items.
Well, this is even different than that.
Too bad it's not a pretty game.
This is going to Guild Wars 2, where this is how the system in Guild Wars 2 works.
And WildStar.
And Final Fantasy.
So what happens is guys, please.
Sorry.
When you loot item that you can equip, you unlock that item's appearance in your collections tab. After you've unlocked it, you can throw it away. You don't need to keep that piece of gear on you anymore because you've unlocked the appearance. This is the same way that Guild Wars 2 does it. And then once you've unlocked that appearance and you go to the Transmog Fire, you can access any of the appearance slots that you've unlocked. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Also, I'm just saying EverQuest 2 has...
Well, I know that Vanguard did not have it. It had appearance slots, but basically what you did is...
Can't let Magic Vanguard!
Yeah, but I didn't say the magic words. But the appearance slot... Well, how does Star Wars The Old Republic have it? Do they have appearance slots at all?
You spend $40 or something. I don't know what's going on over there anymore.
I know you have to like pay to be able to turn off your helmet.
Yeah. So
anyway,
you got extra buttons. So.
Vanguard had an appearance slot. So you had your first character sheet, you had a second character sheet that had all your appearance slots. If you equipped items into your appearance slot, that was what you showed. But none of the stats on that gear mattered. Oh, and funny that you should mention, I talked to one other person, Legendary Neurotoxin, and that they said that was exactly how DC UO does it too. Okay, so that...
And access to Demon Hunters early.
Yeah.
How does that work?
You just have to pre-order either of them.
You pre-order, and I'm pretty sure that you're just stuck inside of the starting zone until the expansion launches.
Probably.
Oh, okay. So you just can level through all the starter area.
Right. It's basically so that on day one, when they launch the new expansion, all of the demon hunters don't have to start at like level 99 or level 95. level to level 100, and then go into the new content. They can like pre-level up to level 100 to see the Demon Hunter starting zone, and then when the new expansion launches, they launch with all of the other characters that are playing, or not all the other characters, all the other classes.
So smart.
So it's kind of like how they released Knights,
Yeah. Yeah. 'cause
where
Death Knight's-
you were already level 55 and then you leveled up through the starting zone and then you did the content up to.
Yeah, but the thing is that Demon Hunters, not Demon Hunters, Knights, I don't think were allowed to be played before the expansion launch. But I didn't start until Wrath of the Lich King. So
They weren't. Yeah, you had to have you already had to have a character at level 60 or higher too.
55.
Okay. And that restriction is totally gone because you get a boost to level 100 when you buy the expansion. So it's like you instantly have a level 100. So it's not like you have to have a level 100 before you get a Demon Hunter. It wouldn't make any sense.
No, but they do put the restriction of level 70 on your account, actually, which is really dumb.
Yep. I don't understand. So the other cool concept that came out from the Legion expansion, and I wanted to talk a bit about this, is that they've changed it. There is no longer like a leveling progression through a zones where you first start in one zone and you level, and then you go to the next zone and you go from like, level 100 to level 102, and then you go from level 102 to 104. They want you to be able to level in whatever zone that you're in. And my argument all along is that experience points are lame. They're an archaic mechanic for a different style of play. It just doesn't fit. I talked with Vladis about how it would be better if they did something like where you are they want you to level through the zone because that's how they're telling the story to you of what's going on in the world. And so why don't they have it so that when you get to like a checkpoint, like a certain checkpoint in the zone, you unlock one of your talents, and now you have this additional talent, and then when you finish the zone, you go up a level or something like that. And that's kind of how they're doing it for Warcraft Legion, where there is not like a level 90 zone. It's go to wherever you want and follow the story, and you will level up to max level.
So wait a minute. Can't just kill random monsters, not pay attention to any of the quests, and level?
You can, but there's not going to be like... It's not going to be like... I know that you have... What was the last expansion that you really played?
Cataclysm.
Okay, so you know how in Cataclysm, the first place you went was either Hyjal or Vashah. You went to the World Tree, or you went under the water, and you leveled from 80 to 82 in those zones.
Obviously,
and then
I picked the mermaid zone. I mean, come on.
And then at level 82, and only at level 82 did you quest to go to Deep Home in the plane of Earth. They're getting rid of that, so that at the start of the game, if you want to go to Deep Home first before going to Hyjal, you can. And you know what? From a server standpoint, that actually makes a lot more sense, because instead of having your game rushing, like all the players rushing through a zone at one time at the start of the server, you can fragment them out to go to 5 different zones instead of just one.
Dude, I played on a PvP server. Trust me, that's going to come in handy.
Oh, and also, they talked in the Q&A a little bit about one of the problems that they had with the launch of Warlords of Draenor, is that each garrison was its own instance, and every time the server generates an instance, it allocates the full memory for that instance onto the server blade, and they didn't have enough memory, so they had, like, one of the first things they had to do was go and physically add a bunch of RAM to their server blades so that they could actually run the instances. That was in the engineering part of the Q&A. One of the lessons that they learned from Warlords of Draenor. We're at 1 hour, so the last 2 things that we have for World of Warcraft, I'm going to let Vladis take the lead a little bit on these next 2 things, because he probably did a little bit more reading than I did. Dungeons and Raids, and then the crafting journey.
Yeah. dungeons are going to be handled a lot different than before in World of Warcraft. There's going to be 10 dungeons in total. 5 are going to be the leveling dungeons. The other 5 are going to be your end game, like gear up sort of dungeons. But this is where the dungeons take a twist. They want dungeons to be more meaningful and for the long term of the expansion. For a long time, they knew that a lot of people didn't raid. They or your guild wasn't big enough, so you did a lot more 5-man content. So this is where dungeons are going to start taking a different path. You're now going to be able to gear up and get raid level tier gear in dungeons. That's going to be huge, especially if you love doing 5-man content. And it scales. And they're also tweaking the dungeon challenge mode. What they're doing now is that they're kind of mixing like the hard mode dungeons and that together, so that there is more of a challenge to it. It's not just like slam to the end and get to the end and it's really hard. It's now, everyone could be taking a dot over time damage, right? So damage over time, and the healers have to heal you consistently throughout that whole dungeon. So there is that, and the harder your challenges are, the better your reward is at the end. And the way to put it is that there is a breaking point. You will find your breaking point. They want this to be challenging. They want this to be something that you continually play if this is what you want to do, and it will keep your dungeons fresh. Hopefully they will add more dungeons in but 10 is a really good number. But let's see where they go with that. As for the raids, 2, your very first one is the Emerald Dream. You start at the base of the tree, and you climb the world tree and to enter to the dungeon itself. And Warlords of Draenor didn't have dragons. So to fix that, the very first raid boss you encounter in the Emerald Dream is a dragon. It's the Emerald Dream. Of course there's going to be dragons. But this dragon is being infected by the Emerald Nightmare. So this is big stuff. If you've always wanted to, kind of like go through, and this is a copy, by the way. The Emerald Dream is a copy of Azeroth. So there are places you'll see, and you'll be like, I know where that is, and I know why it's going on. So it's pretty cool, and I think that it's finally time for us to step into the Emerald Dream and take on the Emerald Nightmare. And then next is the second raid for the expansion, which is Suramar Palace. This is where we will not only take on Gul'dan, this is also where we will be taking on the Nightborn, which is a race of night elves that kind of ascended higher into a new form. I guess you would say kind of like how Blood Elves broke away. They kind of broke away and became something else. And you will fight not only demons of that kind, you will also fight the Nightborn and the people that have broken away and became a little evil. There is one really powerful mage whose name I forgot, but she is super powerful to the point that she controls time itself, and she will be a raid boss, and she will probably kick some ass. So, this is really cool. I mean, for me, it's really cool because this is not only what I think WoW should have done a while ago, but I think this is kind of like we've been working on this so long, and here's the gift to everybody that's stuck with us for this many years. So it's almost like, sorry about Warlords. Here's all the stuff you wanted.
Well, there was I don't know if we talked about it on the show before, or if it was just private conversations. Do you think that like Warlords of Draenor was the filler expansion? It was always something they had in the back of in the background that they had, like if they ever needed to pull out an expansion to give them more room to come out with an expansion, that they're like, oh, Warlords of Draenor, bam, there it is. It's going back in time, and it's seeing the world of Draenor before it became Outland, before it blew up.
Unless you're the Doctor, time travel is sort of like jumping the shark.
Oh no, it totally is.
It is, but this was even time travel. It was alternate reality.
And that, again, like I don't dislike raiding. I enjoy casually raiding. I take it as seriously as my other commitments allow me to take, but none of the Warlords of Draenor raids really appealed to me because they were so inconsequential. None of them mattered. I knew it was, oh, this is all alternate timeline stuff. It's all like, none of this really is, none of it matters.
Think Back to the Future 2 with Biff getting the book of the World Series and making bets. This is what essentially Biff took over.
And it didn't like comic books back. They used to do their What If series, like what happened, what would the world be like if Superman landed in Soviet Russia instead of Kansas?
Yeah.
And this is one of those stories. The whole expansion was like, well, what if, Durotan didn't drink the demon blood?
Exactly. That's it. Yeah. I mean, that's it. Really, information they really gave on it.
Meaning, we've run out of ideas for our actual story, so let's just change things a little and pretend.
Well, I don't think it was actually. It wasn't that they didn't have ideas. I think that the ideas that they wanted to put in place for Legion just needed more time, and Miss of Pandora was already so done. And they're like, okay, well, it's time to pull it out and put it into play. It's Warlords of Draenor!
Yeah. That's it. That was essentially it. But hey, listen, we got one more thing. It's crafting.
The crafting journey.
Yeah. That's big time stuff.
Alright, so have your drink ready because I'm going to talk a little bit about crafting and Vanguard. One of my favorite things about crafting in most MMOs is the crafter's journey that you can take as you play the game.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is this like Waterfall and Kings? Do I have to keep drinking while you talk, or
No.
Oh, okay, good.
So I like the idea in Vanguard that your adventuring was separate from your crafting, and when you were a crafter, if you wanted to be a really important and well-known crafter, you went on crafting quests just like adventurers went on adventuring quests, and you leveled up and did questing as a crafter, and it was like this whole journey of a crafter and learning new things from the world around you, and Warcraft is sort of adding that into their game, and Flatus is going to talk more about it. I just really appreciate that it's no longer throw stuff into your inventory, open up your UI, hit make, and then, when it's done, it's done.
Yeah, no, actually they even said that. That was one of the key points they made. It's like, guys, how do you like crafting when you log in and you just go to your person and you gather all the skills you need and you just craft. You sit there and you go, boop, 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 and like, got it, maxed it out. That's it. That was it. They said no more. They want to give crafting a purpose, which is the first time I've ever heard Blizzard say, hey, listen, we want to give crafting a purpose outside of getting buffs. So...
yeah, do you have 2 max professions so that you can get your 2 raid buffs, and after that, crafting is useless?
Mm-hmm. Not anymore. Crafted raid gear is going to be a thing, and crafters now can upgrade said gear, which is great. That not only does that mean that crafters now have the ability to make great gear and sell it on the marketplace, so now that they have a form of income that's useful to them, you also have to journey into the world for crafting. It's not so much of just go to your trainer and grab all the new things like, hey, listen, here's all this new stuff you need to learn. It's more now you have to go the world and actually physically learn how there's this cloth, and I'll use this way to describe it is how they described it. There's a piece of cloth that you get, and you'll try to sew it together, but you notice that your thread is disintegrating into it, so you have to figure out why, and you have to go on this journey. You may meet somebody that tells you like, hey, listen, there's only one type of thread that can hold that cloth together, and you have to go on a journey to find out why. So it makes it meaningful. It makes you want to craft. It makes crafting interesting. And I don't talk about this a lot here, but you want to give people incentive. I say this a lot on Twitter. Incentive is really why we want to play MMOs, right? You want the incentive to log in and play with your friends and make it fun, and you need the incentive to craft, right? And if you don't have it, then there's no point to doing crafting. And you just sit in your garrison. Like right now, currently the form is that you sit in your garrison, you go to the people and you just click on buttons, and that's it. And that's not fun. That's not incentive. That makes it boring. So if any good MMO wants incentive to crafting, you make it like you make it in the world. You do questing, you do things to increase your character. You want to log in and have something to do. Rather it be crafting, it be questing, it be PvP, it be any of these things. You want to have something to do about it. And they finally did it for crafting and crafters. And I know that people just thought you had to do just for buffs, but now I think it's finally something that you want to do. So, crafters out there, if you've...
I've always wanted to craft, but I felt like they never made it worthwhile to be like, make your own armor in World of Warcraft, so I'm glad that they're adding something in that actually makes it, like, viable.
Yep.
Well,
Absolutely.
The funny thing is that when Cataclysm launched, and in early Wrath of the Lich King, not only did you craft for those raid buffs, but if you actually ever wanted to PvP, you could craft up the starter PvP gear without having to generate any honor, so that you didn't go in because this is back when they were still using resilience. If you went into a battleground with no resilience, you just got slaughtered. And so like crafting was like, okay, I'm going to craft up so that I get my 2 raid buffs, and then I'm going to craft up so that I actually have some PvP armor, and then I'm going to go get the honor gear with my honor points. All right, go on.
I think we had one. We have one more thing. Kylas, how was Linkin Park?
Well, I was going to turn it over to her at the end and be like, okay, so what did we not cover in Linkin Park?
Linkin Park was really fucking good. So I actually know some of their names, like Chester, poor guy. Like, they've been around for what, 20 years now? He still screams and tries to. That's pretty good. But stressed his voice out a lot, and started losing it. His voice started cracking a lot. And then Mike Shinoda has a side project called wow, put me on the spot and then I lose it. Oh my god. Somebody help me out here. Fort Minor. Took me a second. And we got to hear some new Fort Minor stuff. But there was lots of screaming, and I may have slipped past security to get closer to the stage. Maybe. I tried to get into the mosh pit, but those security guards were a little bit bigger than I am, and they kind of caught me. And gave me the look of really. So I didn't get to get into the mosh pit, but it was really good. They played a lot of old stuff, a lot of old stuff, and like 3 or 4 songs of their newer stuff. Like, and when I say 3 or 4 songs of their newer stuff, I mean like Minutes to Midnight and After, which are the past 4 albums. So pretty much nothing. Very, very little. It was good. It was good. Yeah. What else would you like me to talk about?
Cosplay?
So much cosplay. So let me just say there was a lot of cosplay. There was a lot of really fantastic cosplay. There was Jessica I'm gonna butcher the girl's last name. Jessica Nigiri.
Nigiri.
Okay,
and
her. She was there.
I'm gonna pull up a picture.
Yeah, God, please. It was amazing. Dressed as Deathwing, and then Fake Nerd Boy was there with her, dressed as a male version of Sylvanas. They both like posed with me, and I got a selfie of all 3 of us together. It was pretty awesome. I have a picture of Deathwing humping Sylvanas. That was really good.
You also took a picture with the lead EP?
With what?
You took the picture with the lead of PvP
Holinka.
Online. Yep. And who was behind you photobombing you?
Swifty.
Yep.
And it's
I know-
funny because he photobombs me, and I was getting ready to leave, and I hear him say, "Well, I wanted a photo with her too." And I looked at him and I was like, "With me?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, you too, but her." And I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "But I'll get one with you too." So I thought he was actually talking about me. Kind of correct. Nope, with her. That's her. Yeah,
I think they added some effects to the photo,
clearly.
but yeah, it's a female version of Deathwing.
It was really good. She was wearing contacts. Her contacts genuinely were bright effing orange. It was pretty intense. And every one of the cosplayers super super sweet. They really wanted to talk a lot. There was some amazing Johanna costumes this year. My absolute favorite Johanna was all in black and red. Follow me on Twitter if you want to go see the pictures from BlizzCon. I have been tweeting them like crazy. It's at @ever_Kai. I put it in chat earlier, and it's underneath my portrait. But seriously, go follow me on Twitter if you want to see the pictures, because there's so many of them. And I said, "But seriously," and Siri heard me, and she's like, "Oh, what do you want from me now?" Yeah.
But so
And I bought the cute but deadly leggings. Oh my god. Like, I've got Illidan on my... Yeah. They're super adorable. And posters.
Here's the picture of the red and black Johanna cosplay. I'm holding the shield in this picture, and Kyles in this picture is wearing her her handmade Johanna T-shirt with the symbol that Johanna has on
It's on her shield, yeah. Yeah, she was amazing. She was super super sweet. Absolutely gorgeous. Totally built exactly like Johanna, just broad-shouldered, super tall.
Yeah, I'm 5'7", so she's like 5'9", 5'10", maybe 5'11".
You're 5'6", babe.
Yeah, whatever.
Man.
So is there anything else we missed? I'm going to put it over to our final thoughts.
Kyles, you got anything?
Oh my god. People had a giant Pepe. There were giant like Pepe. But like...
Giant Pepe.
Yeah. There was a lot of really cool plushies that people had made themselves because they didn't turn them into plushies yet.
Yeah.
Nice.
The amount of craftsmanship that goes into cosplay, like, I'm not really into it that much, but it's so good. The ones that I liked, the Johanna one that Kyla showed, there were a couple of tracers. Tracer is the new hero from Overwatch that was really good. And then go watch the photo albums from all the online places to see the finalists at the BlizzCon stage, because I can't cover them all. Esports is great. I didn't put it down as a talking point because I didn't think that many people would be really interested in it, but I missed the beginning of the Linkin part set so that I could watch the World of WarCraft finals, and then I missed a lot of opportunity to meet people that were at the convention because I was watching the Heroes of the Storm Championship. I think I've mentioned before that I really, really, really like watching competitions. Doesn't matter what type of competitions it is. And when I have the opportunity, I'll go and watch it live.
I right by Chris Messon, and I did not talk to him. I just smiled and nodded. And the only reason I did that is because he was with his family. He had his wife and and his kid. And I couldn't do that. No, you're not on the floor by yourself. You're clearly with your family. I can't stop you and bother you. It's so not polite. So I didn't.
And I walked back to the went back to the hotel to get the freaking Kyla sweatshirt when she got the with a photo with Brian Holinka, which is the lead PvP designer. She was supposed to.
Side note: didn't Cloud9 actually win Heroes of the Storm?
Cloud9 from the US, and they won in dominating fashion. They won. I think it was 3-0 in the semifinals and definitely 3-0 in the finals. They didn't drop a match in the finals. And then in World of WarCraft, and I'll talk a little bit about it because it's actually kind of cool. We have our first 2-time world champion in World of WarCraft Arena. One of the members of, I think it was SkillCapped EU that won. God, I have to look that up. But for the first time, he's won 2 BlizzCons. He didn't win back-to-back, and I'll look up his name in just a second when I'm done talking about it. The finals were Rogue Mage Druid. The Druid was healing Lucy. So on one team was our Rogue Mage Druid. On the winning team was Turbo Cleave, which is Arms Warrior, Enhancement Shaman, and Resto Druid. And the Turbo Cleave won. I don't know why they call it a Turbo Cleave. They just do.
Druids are for a fight.
I know, but there was 2 Resto Druids. In the semifinals, one of the games I watched that I really
enjoyed
watching.
Well, they're obviously doing it wrong.
I will let them know.
I don't know,
I know
they
that.
won.
I'm obviously being sarcastic.
One of my favorite matches in the semifinals was when the 2 teams that were fighting against each other, they busted out their Holy Paladins, and it was Holy Paladin versus Holy Paladin, and one of the teams was God Comp, and God Comp is Shadow Priest, Frost Mage, Holy Paladin. They call it a God Comp. I don't know. They just do. No rogue. Still to this day, no rogue has won Warcraft.
Good.
Exactly.
Maybe this expansion.
I once met I like everybody knows I played Alliance and I played on a PvP server, so I had a slight grudge against undead rogues because they're assholes. And I once convinced a player who played an undead rogue in real life that anything he could do, druids could do better.
Except,
Stunlock.
come back from the dead.
We can't stunlock. However, I can shift bear form, run away, charge at you, stun you, heal myself, switch into cat form, rip you.
I heard that.
Shh.
Dropping a PTSD from PvP days.
All right. So we didn't talk at all about Diablo 3. I really have no comment on that. I do not like the isometric gameplay.
They didn't really have any news. The only news they had is that patch 2.4, they'll have new updates, better gear sets. They're adding 2 more pieces to the gear sets. There'll be 6 pieces. The seasons will last officially 3 months now. That is the time. They were testing times this whole time to figure out what would be the best time. I said time a lot, but that's how English works sometimes. And that's it. They're adding some new zones for the portals and whatnot, but nothing. No new expansion, no new news. Maybe next year, Gamescom or something, PAX. Maybe we'll get a Diablo announcement. That's not against Blizzard's way of doing things recently. So we'll see. I would have flipped. Like, listen, the one thing I was kind of seeing if they would do, because they kind of hit off in their opening ceremonies, was RTSs, and I thought maybe for a second that they were going to announce an Warcraft 4 RTS, and I would have flipped shit. I would have just been like, Tanlin, Kylus, or whatever. You steal the machine with it on there and just bring it over.
By the way, I was mistaken. Skillcapped was in the finals, but SK Gaming was the actual winners. And then I'm looking up who the actual 2-time Blizzard champion is.
Okay. Let's see if there's any questions we missed. I'm gonna go through them real quick. Fatorium, what new properties were announced? As I have no interest in their old properties. The only really new property that was announced was Overwatch. But that's not really new that was announced. That was announced last year. But now it's official that it's coming out in spring 2006. So if you're like FPSs, go check out Overwatch. That may be your thing. If not, Heroes of the Storm's getting some new characters. Cho'Gall. Let's see. And we discussed the shorts. All right, we don't really have any other questions. So I have Diablo or even Warcraft 5. Warcraft 5?
They have to put out a 4 before they can do a 5.
Dork, you trolling us? No, ask Blizzard. I don't know. They didn't announce it, so we don't have it, so we didn't talk about it. Other than that,
I thought that they would. I thought that was something that was going to come during the opening ceremonies, that they were going to talk about adding Warcraft 3, Warcraft 2, StarCraft 1, all of those to the Blizzard launcher, the Battle.net launcher, but they didn't. They're not.
Since like heavily on Warcraft 2 and stuff like that, but alas. Is that it? Anybody got any final thoughts?
No, Linkin Park was really good. That's it. That's all.
Lucy, Druids are for fight?
Obviously not, as druids are basically only used for resto heals, but that's probably why I suck so much at PvP.
Warlords of Draenor.
Fabs. Fabs is the 2-time World of Warcraft Blizzard champion, BlizzCon champion.
Fabs with a B?
Yeah, he is on Twitter at @SK_Fabs capital S. So that's SK_FABS capital S.
I met Scarlet.
All right.
And Scarlet is a professional StarCraft II player who happens to be the only female that we really know of.
Yeah, sorry. That was exciting.
No,
that's it.
I thought he said Faps for a second. I was like, wait a minute.
Oh no, Fabs.
Yes. Yeah, that's about it. StarCraft II. Legacy of the Void launches next week. DLC's coming, and that's it for now for StarCraft news.
Next episode. Flatus, you're breaking up, dude. Next episode, next week, we're going to be talking about augmented reality and virtual reality. Since the goggles will be out on the consumer market here soon, and then we will be tweeting out what we are covering the week after that in the near future once we finally lock down what that is going to be. Flatus, you still there? I'm not hearing you, buddy. Sorry. All right, who wants to camp us out?
Since Lucy didn't really have a whole lot to say, Lucy, do you want to camp us out?
Sure. So if you don't already, follow us on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Give us a like, thumbs up, whatever, +1. Share our links with your friends. Share. Social media, Twitter, Facebook. Get the word out. Tell people about EverCast. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for being such a cool part of our show and watching us. And we'll see you guys next week. Camping in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.